What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Loki, episode 5, Journey into Mystery. And this one's a little different than my past reviews of these Marvel TV shows, because first of all, I'm actually doing this a few days after I watched it, because I wasn't able to do a review the night that I watched it. So I'm going to have to be going off of memory a little bit, because I don't really have time to rewatch it at the moment. Also, I'm doing this before I've even uploaded last week's review of episode 4. So these are actually going to be uploading later because I'm a little backlogged at the moment. I haven't had time to really sit down and upload and make it. I've actually been working on trying to make good thumbnails so when people look at it, they're like, oh, that's kind of interesting, and not just, hey, that guy's face looks weird. I don't want to click on that. So yeah, it's a little bit different, and also I got home today. I was visiting family up in Ohio, and now I rode back down to Georgia, so I've been in the car all day. I'm kind of tired, but this is like the only time that I can get some reviews done. At least, well, I could probably get some done tomorrow, but while it's still fresher in my mind, because by tomorrow I don't even know what I'm going to remember, what I'm going to forget. But what I do remember about this episode is it was a lot of fun, very enjoyable, very good climactic build up to the final episode before we finally see everything going on. But yeah, I enjoyed a lot of the moving pieces. I enjoyed getting to see some different characters interacting. You know, you get to see Loki interacting with different versions of himself. You know, I can't remember, I think it was classic Loki, boastful Loki, kid Loki, and then alligator Loki. Those interactions were pretty fun, you know, getting to see the different stories of these different types of Lokis, these different variants. Seeing that Loki is just a survivor no matter what variation he is. So, I mean, all of these things have lost their life or have been consumed by this Alioth creature, but all of these Lokis are still alive because they survive. And that's what they do. So it's just very interesting to see, and also pretty funny as well. Because, like, the different back and forths, you know, the different dialogues they had, it really gave each of them their own kind of personality while still keeping some key things that makes them a Loki. And I don't know, I really enjoyed how they handled it whenever all of the other Lokis came in to take over Kid Loki's little base. Like, it was just very fun to watch because it's like, aha, I betrayed you, and then all of a sudden everybody turns on the President Loki, and then they're all betraying each other. And you just see the main Loki, the one that the show is about, he's just standing off to the side, just embarrassed, because he's like, this really is what I'm like, like, visually put in front of me. And it's interesting to see that it seems that somehow meeting Sylvie has made him a bit more self-aware of who he is, and maybe also seeing kind of what his life becomes in the future. I feel like has given him a bit more self-awareness to the point where he actually does care and he actually wants to do something important. At least that's what they're making it seem like. Now, these show writers could be very tricky. They could be playing all this up just for us to find out at the end that no, he still wants to take it all for himself. I would be kind of pissed if they did that because it feels like they're doing a good job giving him some characterization. And while I will say just the fact that he's met Sylvie is the one thing that makes him different is a little kind of cliche and a little weird. It's like, oh, she's the one. It also does make sense when you really sit down and think about it because, like Mobius said, I think it was in the last episode he talked about it, like he said, though, you've fallen for yourself, but it kind of makes sense because it's a female version of himself. So it's all of the stuff that he likes in himself. He is a narcissist, but now it's in the female version and it's in front of him and it's also attractive, and yeah, it makes sense for a narcissist. And it also gives him something to fight for. It's not something that he's just, you know, another thing that he can take control of. No, it's another human that he actually cares about, and so he wants to fight to keep her alive. He wants to fight to save her. And it's kind of changed who he is deep down, I think. And while I don't think he's completely changed, you know, I still feel like he's very much a trickster and he's probably still going to show a bit of that in the finale. I think it has changed kind of the root of why he does what he does. You know, for most part, it's about being lonely and he just wants to push everyone away. You know, and we've seen glimpses of that in the other movies that he's appeared in. So it is about kind of keeping himself lonely because that's where he wants to be. He doesn't want to trust anyone because he doesn't want to be let down. Um, and so I think now he's finally found somebody that he feels like he can trust and he feels like he believes in. So yeah, it's been fun to see that change. Also, very fun to see Mobius and Sylvie interacting for the first time because that was one I wanted to see. I wanted to see him get to know a bit more about her and honestly her to kind of get that venting out about the TVA and everything they've stood for. Um, yeah, it was a nice moment between them and just really showed how good they are as characters on their own. And some of the side characters in these shows, in WandaVision and in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, have not been written extremely deep. Some of them have just been side characters just for comic relief, and some of them have been a little shallow. I'm looking at like Director Hayward, and the what was his name? I can't remember his name now, but the senator that was in charge of the relocation or how I don't even remember what it was anymore. The GRC, I think. They were very just shallow villains and shallow characters that were very one note, didn't have a whole lot of depth to them. So Mobius, he's a side character, but he's been given a bit more depth. Renslayer, she's a villain, but she's been given a bit more depth. There's more to her. There's more to the TVA than what we thought was going on. So I really feel like they've done a good job writing some of these side characters and making them more intriguing and more interesting so that whenever we're spending time with them, it's not like, okay, can we just get back to the main characters, please? We legitimately enjoy spending time with them as well and getting to see them interacting with the main characters. So, yeah, I've enjoyed Mobius, I've enjoyed Renslayer, and on Renslayer, I really am intrigued to see what's going to happen with her. Because it seemed like she found out that something was going on that she didn't know about. And at first it did seem like she was kind of pissed, like, what the hell? Why didn't anybody tell me this? But we still see she doesn't trust Sylvie, she doesn't trust Loki, kind of rightfully so. Logically, when you think about it, you shouldn't trust them. Like, it would take a lot for them to earn somebody's trust. Like, I feel like Mobius, now that he's been through what he's been through and seen the lies of the TVA and seen what Loki has done to try to get to Sylvie and stuff, I feel like he feels like he can trust Loki, and rightfully so. Whereas Renslayer hasn't seen a lot of this. She's not seen what Loki has been through and what Sylvie have been through. And she's been loyal to the TVA this whole time and to who she thought was the Timekeepers. So I kind of wonder if there's still that part of her that's hesitant to trust them. But she wants to check into it. She wants to see, okay, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Because honestly, it would give her a bit more depth if she wasn't just this mindless puppet who's just like, no, the TVA, it's right. It doesn't matter that the Timekeepers are just androids. It's still the right thing to do. So I'm just going to loyally do my job, blindly trust the people in charge. I don't care if they were just using me. I'm still going to be the loyal puppet to the end. If that's how she takes it, I would be a little frustrated. But I kind of feel like what's more likely to happen is once she finds out who's actually behind it and she finds out what they've been doing and why they've been doing it, I feel like she'll buy into it. She'll believe in the cause of whatever this person or this being has been fighting for. Because she seems that type. She seems the type to enjoy the control. She enjoys having the say of, this is what we're going to do. This is what the timeline has to do. We're dictating this and nothing can change. I think she likes that control. And so I feel like once she gets to the person at the top, she'll be willing to work for them. Not as a loyal, mindless puppet, but more as like a partner. She wants to have that control with them. At least that's how I'm kind of seeing her character. Now, I could be reading into it too much, but that's kind of, especially, seeing how she treated I think it's Hunter B-15 is the name of the other girl, like locking her up and keeping her trapped instead of just, pruning her. It kind of seems like she wants to have control of the situation. So she's like, you're going to stay there. I'm not letting you go anywhere, but I'm going to try to get answers from you before I just get rid of you. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her because I feel like they got a good build-up for her character in the final episode. But yeah, and, obviously the rest of the stuff that happened at the end of the episode, it was all very well done. The CG on Eliath was surprisingly good considering, these TV shows probably don't have as big of a budget. They might have as big of a budget as the movies, but I feel like they don't. I might actually check on that after this review is over and just see like what the budget they were working with compared to the big movies. Because based on, if I'm looking at it from they have a smaller budget than the movies do, the CG on Goliath was actually pretty well done, and the CG on whenever classic Loki created the fake Asgard, that was also really well done. But yeah, that final fight scene, was pretty emotional, pretty powerful. Sad to see classic Loki go. It was kind of one of those things where as soon as he died and then Goliath was starting to come for them, that's when they were able to enchant Goliath. So a little cliche that they couldn't have done it just a little bit before he died. No, he had to sacrifice himself. He stepped in and he died, and that was his purpose fulfilled. I don't know. It was just that part was a little cliche, but his performance was fantastic. The little bit of time that we got to spend with him, and then yeah, I kind of am interested to see what this person behind all of this, like who he is, what or who they are, he or she, what their purpose is. I'm really curious. I mean, there's a lot of talk that it's Kang the Conqueror, which I did look up and I know a bit more about, and yeah, it kind of makes sense that he would be the one behind it. There's also some theories that it's another Loki who's trying to sort of keep the mainline Loki from bonding with another one because they know that Lokis together are more powerful. We saw what Loki and Sylvie together could do. They managed to enchant this beast, Goliath. So clearly that's why they're showing that, okay, well, Lokis can't be, they have to be lonely. So that's why that's always a Nexus event whenever Lokis feel less lonely, whenever they feel like they can make friends or they can bond with somebody. It feels like that makes them more powerful. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested to see what's going on here, what the plan is, why whoever is behind all of this made everybody believe that there's just one timeline and that's it, and there can't be a multiverse. Is there something that they know that if there are multiverses, they can be stopped? Could it actually be, if it is Kang the Conqueror, I mean, it could technically be that he's about to be the new big bad guy and they're going to need the multiverse to stop him. And he knows that, so that's why he's keeping it from being a multiverse. It's just the one timeline and that's it. So I don't know. I really hope that we get some answers, though. I know some of this will not be resolved because I feel like What If, the show that they just previewed, I feel like What If is going to play into this some because it is going to show, I think, different possibilities, different timelines maybe. And then, of course, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is another thing that's going to be happening. And so there is going to be a multiverse, which means they're not going to just put the timeline back to what it was. So I feel like there's going to be some things left unresolved that will be resolved later. But for Loki and his story, I want to see that resolved. I want to see him, I guess, finish his story. I'd love to see him and Mobius just sort of chilling on a beach while Mobius rides a jet ski. That'd be cool. Sylvie's like hanging out with them too. That'd be awesome. And of course, the other thing that just sort of popped in my mind, this possibility, and it's something that whenever he started saying it, it didn't click at first, but then it clicked after he was done. Classic Loki talks about how he created a double so convincing that it fooled Thanos. And then he pretended to be dust and debris after the ship blew up, and then he went and hit on another planet and just stayed there. And basically was staying in loneliness until he decided to come off the planet, and that's when the TVA stepped in and said this is a Nexus event. So they've raised that possibility that happened, right? They've raised that possibility. Now, of course, we saw the main Loki watched his tape and saw that the tape ended once Thanos killed him. So I'm feeling like that's not what happened. But they've raised the possibility now. So now I'm just going to be waiting to see, is Loki going to come back? Are we going to find out that that's actually what happened now? I don't know. It's only a slight possibility. Probably not going to happen. But, I mean, there is also the thing that a lot of the people from the Thor movie, I mean, they died. A lot of Thor's friends died in Ragnarok. So I mean, are they going to bring them back too? Because it feels weird that they would just kill off all their characters and then it's just like we'll never see them again. I don't know. It's just a lot of possibilities, a lot of things that they're playing with, that they're hinting at, and I don't know how much of it to actually get hopeful about and how much of it I should just sit here and go, it's probably another Ralph Boner joke. Like, they could do either or. But I really feel like this finale is probably going to be, I don't know, I don't want to get too hopeful, but I feel like it's going to be the craziest of all of the show finales so far. In WandaVision, they didn't really do a whole lot. You stopped Agatha, she closed off the Hex, and then she went off to study, and they're setting up, the multiverse of madness and her learning about her witch powers. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it ends with he becomes Captain America. Bucky is no longer the Winter Soldier. He's cut that past off. You see Madam Hydra revealed and all that. So it set up a couple things, but nothing too crazy. Nothing that blew my mind and made me go, holy crap, I can't believe they did that. So with this one, though, it feels like there's a lot of possibilities because of what they've set up and kind of the building of the story and where it takes place. Like, this one feels the most important to future MCU products. So, I don't know. I don't know how much we're going to see. I don't know if we're going to see anything crazy. It would be cool to see some cameos. Like, I don't know who they could bring in, but it would be really cool to see some cameos pop up and like, hey, look, it's them. They're coming in to help out, or yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. But anyways, I should probably stop rambling. All in all, it was a good episode. Really excited for the final one. Can't wait to see it. That's about all I have to say. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this episode? What do you think is going to happen in the finale? Well, I guess by the time I get this posted, the finale will already have aired. So never mind. Just tell me what you thought about this episode. Leave a like and subscribe for future Loki reviews. And I'll see you guys at the finale. Peace out.